Welcome to Echo Trade. Today, we're here back with Joe Hosler from Auour Investments. Joe, appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
Yeah, today we're here to talk about the firm, talk about Auour Investments. Joe is one of the founders of Auour. Him and his two partners founded Auour. I think you guys are on your 10-year anniversary today, 10/4/23. Is that correct?
Well, so one of our strategies hit its 10-year mark today.
There you go. Well,
the firm started
congratulations.
maybe 5 months before that.
Yeah, well, congrats. That's a big anniversary, the
Thank
10-year
you.
mark. So a little bit about Joe. Joe's, and I'll let you kind of dive into your background, but 10 years at Auour, founder, 20 years institutional management experience, incredible background, and the team has an incredible background. But I'll hand it over to you. Kind of give a little bit, kind of your history, kind of what you were doing before you came on and founded Auour.
Okay, yeah. So for 20 plus years, I was focused on the institutional money market or money space, management space. So I was working at Putnam, Pioneer, Babson Capital, Mass Mutual, different firms focused on managing large sums of money.
Yeah.
But always within that context, it was a subsegment of the market that I was focused on.
Yeah.
And one of my last was small cap companies with a growth tilt.
Mm-hmm.
And what myself and my two partners, we worked at different firms, but we all had the same frustration, which is I'm focused on this one segment, but what about if I don't like anything in that segment? Or I'm scared about the markets in general and I just want to pull out. In those firms, you had to be fully invested all the time. We felt like there was a huge inefficiency within the market, within the managed money space, because no one seemed to be looking at how to rigorously and analytically choose when to be fully invested in the market and when to be partially invested or out of the market. And if you're fully invested, what segments of the markets do you want to be in? International, US, large cap, small cap, so many different segments.
Yeah.
And that was missing. So Auour Investments started up, and just the name, we spell it Auour, but the name, we pronounce it Auour. It's because myself and my two partners, all of our assets are invested in our strategies.
Yeah.
So it was, how do we want to manage our money? Let's take a clean sheet of paper. How would we want our money to be managed?
Yeah.
And what we decided is that if we could build an algorithm through a quantitative process, we could take the emotion out of investing, strive to be core-like, meaning fully invested in the market most of the time, but navigate away from the market when we saw risk factors that had historically caused periods of volatility.
Yeah.
And so we focus on something called regime-based investing. We're one of the innovators in it. And it's this idea that markets go through cycles, and each of those cycles has different phases, or I'm sorry, within every cycle, there are different phases. And you want to tilt the portfolios to take advantage of those phases if you understand them. So we spent a lot of time building out an algorithm that has been time tested now for 10 years. And what it allows us to do is to get 90+% of the market's upside, but to navigate away from the market when risk becomes, we see the risk elevated, and to move into levels of cash. So it's a downside mitigation strategy that strives for 90+% of the market's participation on the upside. And hopefully during times of duress, we only will hit about 50% of that decline.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's incredible. And we talked about this before, how, within your previous roles, in a lot of those money managers, you have, like you said, it's very siloed, right? They're looking, I'm only in a small cap, only with a growth focus. I'm only in large cap. I'm only in international or US. And so they really, and you even have potentially mandates, like you said, to be fully invested at all times. So the whole kind of, and that's why I think a lot of the best companies start, is where you see a problem. You're an expert within your industry. You see a problem, and then you look as a way to solve that and provide a solution. So it's really, if you want to just kind of give a quick background on the rest of the team, within Robert and the rest of the team.
Definitely. So Robert Koftanek is one of my partners. He was doing private equity work. We actually went to grad school. Funny little story. We went to grad school together. His wife was studying to be a doctor. She actually helped birth my firstborn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she was in the room, and she was actually, I was up with moral support at my wife, but Danielle, Robert's wife, was down in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But so we went to grad school together. I went the public equity route. He went the private equity route.
Yeah.
So his experience over that 20-year period was focused much more on debt, deal financing, debt origination, and such of things of that nature. Whereas I focus much more on fundamental analysis of individual companies that were publicly traded.
Mm-hmm.
The third partner, Ken Dorr, he and I met at Putnam. He and I were both brought into a group to add more discipline at a time after it had some troubles. Ken is a quantitative manager. He ran a part of the Vanguard Windsor Fund back in the 90s, and
Mm-hmm.
he's focused on building that algorithm and testing it and deriving the intelligence that we have. So through this combination of the three partners, we've been able to build out this algorithm that is fundamentally based but quantitatively rigorous. And it allows us to take the emotion out of investing, because investing can get it can be scary sometimes. And
Yep.
so if we can take that fear out, make intelligent decisions, it allows us, we think, to get to a better outcome for the client.
No, and you mentioned previously, kind of one of the thesis is, kind of the mission statements of the firm and of your strategies is a Warren Buffett quote: "Be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy."
Exactly.
And so I think that definitely applies. And if you can put that in an algorithmic way to eliminate your own emotion from that, then you can be even more successful. So, Joe, really great partner. Love being teaming up with Auour and having the portfolios available within Echo Trade to get all of your diverse background from the team and put it all into these portfolios that investors can get access to. So thanks for being here. Thanks for the partnership. Appreciate it, Joe.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.